Yes.
Awesome, we're live. So thanks everyone for tuning in to the One Young World Prep Hangout. I'm Cassie. I'm the coordinating ambassador for Ireland. I'm really pleased to welcome you all to this hangout and really psyched to get you all excited for Dublin. Um, we have such an incredible summit prepared and lined up for Dublin. We've got so many amazing social activities around the summit, and also we've got a really positive and really incredible summit that I hope you're all going to enjoy. So we're really pleased to answer any of your questions you have about Dublin or the summit in general. Ash and Raaida are going to answer all your complicated questions, and I'm going to answer all your questions about Dublin. So if you want to get straight into it.
All right. Hey, guys. So I'm Ash from the Bahamas. I'm the coordinating ambassador for Central America and the Caribbean. I don't know necessarily about tough questions, but these are your questions nonetheless. Some of you guys want to know what should you expect at the summit. And to tell you the truth, it sounds so corny, but expect the unexpected. It's literally you walk into the airport, any connecting airport really, and you see someone sitting down like in the airport terminal, and there's something in your gut tells you that that's a One Young World ambassador, and so you walk over to the person, you're like, "Are you One Young World?" And they say, "Yeah," and you end up speaking to one another. But the point is, though, One Young World summits are structured, and then they're not. They're structured in the sense that there's an amazing agenda that the team puts on every year for everybody else, but the really magical moments take place during the networking of it all. There's like always just a split second when anything can happen, a quote that something that would have been said, and it just moves you. Um, from what I've been hearing about what's going to be taking place in Dublin, like it's going to be crazy. But Raaida, do you have anything to add about how the summit would work?
Sure. Thank you, Ash. And thank you everybody for tuning in. My name is Raaida Mana, and I am the coordinating ambassador for the South America region. So that's Spanish-speaking Latin America. And well, there's a lot of things that you can expect when you go to a One Young World Summit. One thing that you can expect is a program full of activities, a very consistent program that allows us to have a say in the different topics that the summit addresses. And as any other summit, but this one in particular, we have a very specific moments that happen. And those are like, for example, plenary sessions, workshop activities, and all of that you can expect. But what's most important, as Ash was saying, is learning and understanding that any moment can be important to network. Any moment can be the moment in when you meet somebody that you make a friendship with, but also that you learn from. So I am very excited. We're very excited about Dublin, and we're very excited to see also what the city offers. And that's another thing that you can expect when you go to a One Young World Summit, is getting to know the city that hosts in a total different level than what a tourist notices, because we're doing activities around the city, and that always helps to get to know how a place works, So there's a lot of things that definitely one can expect when participating in an event like a One Young World Summit.
Thanks so much, Raaida. Before we move on, I just thought that it would be, if you see to the corner of your screens here, two amazing young ladies who are going to be joining the summit this year for the very first time. So we have Aya.
Hi.
Algeria. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so yeah, we have Aya from Germany, and we have Aliona from Albania.
Hello.
So they're first-time delegates, and we thought it would be really cool to just add them to the call today, because I'm sure that they have a few questions that they want to ask. So feel free to ask them during any point of the call, ladies. Is there anything you want to ask right now specifically?
No, just the question that I was asking before, like being an ambassador, what does that mean? Do I get sponsored for the next trip I do to any One Young World conference, or yeah, how does it really work? I'm sure many people are interested in that question too, so I'm just gonna do it again.
Okay, cool, no worries. So basically, so this year I would be labeled Cassie, myself, Raaida. We would all be labeled as returning ambassadors, even though we hold the coordinating ambassadors title. And basically, as returning ambassadors, we get the privilege of already having an automatic spot held for us at the next summit. Um, as far as having an advantage over, who gets a sponsor, who doesn't, no, we're in the same league as the delegates. We don't have a special hookup with any of the bigger companies. We don't know Anthony Jenkins personally, so we can't just call up and say, "Yo, dude, sponsor us." Um, Definitely attending a summit puts us at an advantage because we've been able to network, we've been able to meet certain people who would be able to send us in the right direction as to how we can find sponsors. But as far as being a returning ambassador is concerned, we have no advantages as far as we have no advantages over delegates. One of the honors of being a returning ambassador and an ambassador in general as a One Young World, as a member of the One Young World family, there are certain events that might take place throughout the year. One Young World, even though it's such a new organization, they've been partnering with so many other organizations, to create, massive change. And so you would find that if you are in the field of, I don't know, social business, if there's something going on, One Young World headquarters would, know that that's your field, and they would call you up and say, hey, we're working on this project. We'd really like for you to get involved. Um, Another advantage on a more human level is the fact that I can literally go to any country in the world, and I know that there's a One Young World ambassador there. I can reach out to that person. We can have coffee. We can go for dinner, lunch. I can work on different projects with that person. So the opportunities are definitely endless when you hold the title as an ambassador. But we don't have an advantage over delegates as far as finding funding is concerned.
No, and just kind of to reiterate that, like that's such an important point that One Young World places the same kind of value in new delegates and returning ambassadors. That everyone is seen as equal. That it's a summit that everyone can be a part of. So whether you've had experience with it before or you've never heard of it. Like last year I only heard about it maybe 3 or 4 weeks before I came into the summit, but that everyone is valued equally and you can join in, you can still be a part of the discussion, you can still be a part of the community, and that everyone is afforded the same opportunities as everyone else.
Yeah, and I also think that another very important thing that you receive when you're an ambassador, it's a call to do something, to return to your country and use all the things that you learn when you're in One Young World to either grow your project or to either start something new. And having that network of people with similar mindsets, with similar values to your values and to the type of things that you work on is very important when you come back and you want to do something. So for me, being an ambassador is not only about coming back to another One Young World Summit, but it's also coming back to your country and doing more, doing more and doing better, I'd say.
Definitely. I like what Raaida brought up about just, doing something, because at the end of each summit, David Jones, the co-founder David Jones, he always says, even if you just do one thing, it doesn't have to be something massive, whether or not it's conserving water, whether or not it's, conserving energy, do one thing. When you go back home to just do that one thing, imagine, the epic change that, can happen if everyone just went home and did that one thing. So I'm glad that Raaida brought that up. So Cassie, tell us, what's the structure of the summit like? Do we get to have the chances to do like one-on-one sessions, or do we get, what happens?
So the structure of the summit is quite similar to how it has been in the last couple of years. We have the plenary sessions and we have the breakout sessions. And what's great about Dublin is that the majority of our breakout sessions are happening in our sort of social and cultural hubs or in our historical sort of premises. So the people are actually going to get to see the city while they're doing their breakout sessions. So they're in our museums, they're in our our historical buildings and that kind of thing. So we're really trying to incorporate the social program and the actual summit together quite nicely this year, which I'm really excited about because people are going to get to see the really prolific spots of Dublin throughout the summit. There is a fantastic social program running alongside the actual summit. So we have things like the 1,000 Welcomes, which are going to be tours of the city. The great thing about Dublin is that everything, the area that we're operating in this year it's so central. Everything is in walking distance. So you can go see Dublin Castle, you can go see our town hall. You can see Guinness Storehouse if that's what you're into. All within kind of a 15-20 minute walk of our One Young World HQ for Dublin. So yeah, the session is the same. I think it's working the same as it has done before, just with that extra bit incorporated into it.
Great. I know a lot of people have been messaging me, and in summit's past, sometimes people feel as if there might just be not enough time for us to really just talk to everyone else. And so in Pittsburgh, the night owl sessions were implemented. And basically all night owl sessions are, because people want to know, how can I speak with someone on a more intimate level, in a laid back area about the things that I'm interested in. And basically, during the 2012 summit in Pittsburgh, One Young World came up with the night owl sessions. And basically, all that is after the summit, after dinner, you post on the One Young World website, hey, I'm interested in social entrepreneurship, or I'm interested in human rights. Let's have a discussion on that. And so it'll be 10 to 15 young One Young World ambassadors in the corner of the hotel lobby or in a restaurant in Pittsburgh, and they're just all meeting and talking to one another. And so I think that's, we definitely did it in Joburg, and I think a lot of people are going to be doing that this year in Dublin as well. So that's another way for you to definitely talk to people and network just a bit more and find out who's interested in what during the night owl session. So take advantage of the One Young World website, look at the blogs, look at who's posting what, take advantage of the Facebook page, and just see who wants to meet where, which restaurant, which bar, which hotel lobby, or which corner of the convention center.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we're definitely trying to facilitate more in Dublin. I know last year in Joburg we had problems with Wi-Fi, we had problems with kind of connecting with people, so it's something that we're very aware of this year. And what I would say to people is definitely utilize the One Young World website itself, and utilize the Facebook groups. I think there's a couple going, but there is one specifically for Dublin attendees. So if you're not, just do a quick search of One Young World Dublin attendees, and you'll find it. If not, get onto one of us and we can add you into the group, and use that group as a way to connect with other people. Also, my advice would be to, after each plenary session, which is quite specific, so if you're in one you're particularly interested in education, just have a quick gander around, a quick look around at people, and just suggest a meeting point afterwards. And the night owl sessions will develop at the summit and quite naturally themselves, but definitely stay connected in the lead up to the summit so that you can connect already with people and other delegates who are working on similar projects or working in similar areas, so that you can kind of predefine an area that you will meet in. And we are doing our best in Dublin to facilitate the best night owl sessions that we can have. But we genuinely think the best way that we can do that is for people to connect either on the Facebook or through the various different mailing lists that we have. And if you have any difficulty in connecting with people, definitely drop one of us an email, and we can put you in the right kind of Facebook group, or we can put you in the right Twitter conversation, or we can put you in the right mailing list so that you are connected with the right people.
Definitely. So I'm on the YouTube page right now. Oh, does someone want to make a point? Sorry.
No. Just saying, definitely important to follow what's happening on social media and start getting connected with people right now, not waiting until the summit happens.
No,
Start getting
definitely.
connected with people right now.
Definitely, and I find too that sometimes people are shy. They don't necessarily want to post their stuff on Facebook. They're like, no, I'll just wait till we get there. So definitely.
Last year we had notes up in hotels and stuff about the different email sessions. So just kind of make yourself aware that they're going to be about. Keep a lookout for those. We will try and make it as offline and online as possible to make people aware that it can happen, but just have to be on the lookout for them.
Definitely. Also, before we move on, we have a question on the YouTube feed by, I honestly hope I'm pronouncing this name right. Feel free to walk up to me at the summit if I'm saying this wrong. Bober Nazar Mahumedov. I think I said that right. So basically, he wants us to elaborate on the flag bearing procedures. Was anyone here a flag bearer? I was, but I figured I could let someone else talk about that. Okay, definitely. Go ahead, Raaida.
Yeah, well, what happens is that the One Young World team makes a selection of one person that is going to be the flag bearer. And what's going to happen that's probably going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And you'll get a notification if you're selected. And you're going to have to be a little bit earlier. If you are the person that is selected, you'll get all the logistic advices through email, and you're probably going to have to be earlier on the opening ceremony place, and have a practice with the team, and just do it. What's very nice about that in particular.
So I think we lost Raaida. I'll once she joins back in, I'll let her continue on. But basically, as a flag bearer, it's a pretty straightforward. It's an honor, definitely, but it's also a very straightforward task. It's just that you have to be just a bit earlier. So if you're coming into Dublin, if you come into Dublin in the morning, you probably head straight from the airport to wherever the ceremony is going to be held, because for the majority of the day you're going to be in rehearsals, and that's really just for you to understand where you're going to be placed, where you put the flags, understand what understand the order of the ceremony, and know where you're going to be sitting. It's like I said, it's a straightforward process and nothing to be worried about. One Young World is really good when it comes to organizing where people should be and when they should be there. Yeah, if you should probably know by now who would be the flag bearer. If not, you'll find out, like Raaida said, in the next few weeks. But it's an amazing opportunity, and you get such a thrill being able to bear your flag like that. I think Aya has a question. Your mic is muted, Anne. Can you unmute your mic?
Oh, okay. Hi. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. What was that called? The fly? What? I did not really get it.
No worries. The flag bearer, and I feel as if we should have explained what the flag bearing ceremony even is. So basically, if you are the flag bearer for Germany, you would walk down the aisle of the opening ceremony with your flag. It's just something that symbolizes how many countries are there.
Mhm.
and how many countries are there, and how we are truly one world. Um, it's just such a beautiful ceremony, really it is. The 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 counselors are there, and it takes place during an amazing ceremony where there's probably a famous singer. I'm crossing my fingers for one in particular, where there's probably like a
Not
really
Bono, actually. It's not Bono.
why is it not mono?
It's fairly certain Bono might be a bit busier. It's a really beautiful ceremony, and I saw it first time last year in Johannesburg, and it's a really incredible thing to be a part of. You don't realize how long it's going to take to showcase 180 something flags, but it just seeing them all together and seeing people, those nationalities and people from those countries bearing those flags, it's a really incredible thing to witness. It's absolutely beautiful, and to have the honor to, to bear your country's flag is just incredible, absolutely amazing. So, yeah,
Hi.
it's one of the best parts, I think, of the opening ceremony. It's really symbolic of just how many countries are there and how connected we all are as well. So it's wonderful.
Just one quick question. How do you get selected to do that?
It's completely random. It's I In years past, I remember Kate would like do a live stream, and she would literally just, if there were more than like two ambassadors from a region or from a country, she would they would be in like a bowl, and she would pull out the name, and it's completely random. It's not, oh, you've done this and so you get to be this. No, it's a completely random thing. If you happen to be the only person from your country that would be in attendance, obviously you'll be the one that's bearing the flag. um, yeah, so it's honestly it's by random selection. um, who gets to bear the flag, because obviously you're all there for a reason. You're all amazing in your own right. So who gets to bear the flag? Obviously, you feel privileged, but it doesn't necessarily matter because you all deserve to walk down with your flag. Thank you, Cassie, for hurting my dreams about Bono. We have a question in.
We can still see us both, but probably not him. Very close. I think he's a very private person.
We have a question coming in from. Well, we have two questions. We have one from Mina Mazen. I don't know where she's from. This came in from Twitter. She asks, as a first-time attendee and delegate, how can I be part of panel discussions or sessions with ambassadors? Hashtag OYW prep. Don't forget to use that hashtag, guys. If you have any questions that you want to ask, definitely use that hashtag. Does anyone want to answer that question?
I think the best way to get into a very active discussion with your fellow delegates and ambassadors is probably the night owl sessions. The plenary sessions do have open questions that you can approach and ask. The only thing I will say about those questions is there's obviously a lot of people in the room. A lot of people will want to have an input, and a lot of people will have questions. Please don't approach and ask a question unless it's genuinely something connected to the topic and something you really want to be answered. If it's more of a discussion topic you want to bring up, do bring it to the night owl sessions and do have it in follow-up discussions with your ambassadors. But when we are in the plenary sessions, there are so many people who really want to get their chance to say, please do keep it to a relevant question. The night owl sessions are a great way to have your voice heard and to share your opinion and to get into a really lively discussion. And there will be night owl sessions for all the different plenary sessions and all the different topics. So you can find a night owl session that's relevant to your interests and it's relevant to whatever projects you might be working on. So that is probably the best way for you to share your experiences. But for the plenary sessions and the questions and answers section, please do keep it relevant for that particular session and the discussion that has gone before it.
Thanks so much, Cassie, for bringing that up, which leads me to this particular point. If you can't tweet it, don't say it. And it sounds harsh, but you want to be considerate to your fellow delegates. There are probably so many people in the room or that would be on that particular line during the floor discussions after a plenary session. Everyone has a question, and a lot of people have comments, but you have to realize that it is a session that's formulated for for counselors to answer specific questions. And that's why we have platforms like Twitter and Facebook, but also this year One Young World has implemented State. So is there, if there is something that you want to say about a particular session, definitely take advantage of the app State. If you haven't received a newsletter about it by now, you definitely will be receiving one in the future about that particular app that's going to be in use at the summit. But if you can't put your question in a tweet, try, because if you can't tweet it, don't say it. There are a lot of people that want to ask questions, and 1,500 young people with a voice, it's crazy. But you definitely have to be considerate to everyone else that would be on the line.
And also, also something that helps a lot, because, and I'm sorry about earlier, I got a disconnection, but something that helps a lot is you're probably, when you're facing the mic, sometimes people get nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it helps if you write down your question, and you just, when you're out there and you're saying it, you have it clear on a piece of paper, or you have it clear in your mind, so that it actually becomes something that just goes to the point, and it's quick, and it's actually something that that people can answer, that it doesn't end up being a comment, because definitely that's not the best moment to do those certain type of comments.
Definitely.
Yeah, if you do find yourself in a plenary session that you're particularly interested in, and you're working on a project that is relevant to that session, and you have got, something that you want to say, definitely utilize the One Young World blogs. We'll be looking for bloggers while we're there at different sessions. So definitely kind of get onto us, get onto the office, and share your experiences, and say that you have something to say, and say you've got something longer to say, and utilize that, because the people who are there are definitely, that's your audience. They're going to be interested in reading it, and we're always looking for bloggers and for people to share their opinions. So if you think you have something more to say, maybe put it in writing and just save your questions for tweetable format.
Definitely. Thank you so much for I'm so happy that we touched on that particular topic. Spencer Knapp from the U.S., who also is Spencer Knapp from the U.S., who's also a returning ambassador. He wants to know, what if I want to go early to Dublin? So if you are a receiver of all bar none, and that's more so a massive logistics question, so I don't want to step on any toes in reference to that. But I'll tell you from prior experience, because a lot of us have bought our own tickets to attend the summit. We would just, if you want to stay earlier or later, you just book your tickets in advance. You just book your tickets to come in rather on the 15th, you come in on the 13th, or if you want to leave after that, you can do that. That's no problem. I think it needs to be said, and that this is an important part. One Young World will not pay for your early trip to Dublin. So if you do happen to come to Dublin a little bit earlier, that expense is definitely on you, and especially if you're an all bar none recipient. So if you're a receiver of all bar none, and One Young World is covering your flights, if you speak with the logistics team, they would definitely be able to. They probably would be able to book an earlier ticket for you, but whatever penalty that comes with that would definitely come out of your own pocket. I'm sure that there are a lot of Irish ambassadors that are around that would love to, show everyone around, and if you're there just a bit earlier. Cassie in particular, she can't wait for us. She can't wait for us to come. But yeah, if you want to come to Dublin early, I don't see there being a problem. Just once you come, just act under the realization that One Young World does not cover that hotel expense or any penalties that would arise from your airline.
Yeah, I mean, I would say to anyone who wants to come to Dublin beforehand, to get in touch, because we can help you. We're not in a position to arrange accommodation for anyone, but we can certainly direct you to sort of affordable accommodation, and we can certainly advise you on what there is to do. There is so much to do in Dublin. If you wanted to give yourself a few days before, there are so many things to see in the city, and it'd be great to kind of show people around the area. We have made ourselves available to have a few kind of extra hours spare around the summit. Definitely do get in touch, but yeah, just to reiterate what Ash said, it is at your own expense. And so that people are aware, we can, if you're looking at staying in Dublin, you're talking maybe kind of sort of the cheapest accommodation is probably about €20 a night. And it is, food and drink in Dublin is relatively expensive. So just do prepare yourself for that. But if you wanted to come to the summit early, I would definitely recommend coming and seeing the rest of Ireland. You could go to the west of Ireland and it's maybe like 3 or 4 hours drive. There's the Cliffs of Moher, there's the Giant's Causeway, all these beautiful things that I've never seen because I live in Dublin. But there is incredible things to see in Dublin. Bono's boat is right beside the summit.
I feel
buying it especially to see Bono's boat, and I've been taking sneak pictures.
I feel as if Cassie only talks about Bono's boat to torture me. We have a question coming in from Irvin Solis from Twitter. He says, how do I know what projects are being developed from past One Young World Summit? Well, Irvin, there's a website. There's a website. On the website, we have, past projects. We have current projects. There also is a really cool map that's on the website that shows all of the Ambassador Impact projects. There is a new format to the website that I am not too familiar with as yet, and I have to do that. But you would see, it's a brand new website. But basically, you should see something that says Impact. It says Ambassador Impact, and you would find out all of the different projects, from the school bag project to the school bag, exactly. So there are lots of different projects that are right on the website for you to check out, and
And I think also a good idea is asking, and I think also that helps networking. As Cassie said earlier, we do have a Facebook group of One Young World Dublin attendees, and it's nice just to hear what people are doing. And many people are just introducing themselves in that group, saying, hey, I'm from X country and I'm working on this area. Is anybody else working on this? I think that also helps a lot because, of course, one thing is the projects that One Young World has developed and helped, for example, the Wake Up Call or other types of projects, but also it's important to know what ambassadors are doing themselves. So definitely social media helps a lot for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one thing to say on kind of projects is that One Young World doesn't directly, doesn't put you in a group and say you have to go forth and make a project. It's more about supporting people who have ideas and are inspired by the summit and want to go off. From kind of my own experiences, when I was launching a project a few weeks ago, I got into the One Young World Facebook group and I got onto some of the counselors and I asked for help, and it just really lifted it. But if you were interested in attending the summit this year, there is a new social business fund that they have just formulated to help get one social business kind of off the ground, and they're offering, I think it's $20,000, which is a tremendous startup fund for anyone interested. So it's more about getting people who are interested together and giving them the kind of tools that they need to take their projects forward.
Yeah, definitely. And like in the very description of One Young World is, it is a platform for young leaders. So take advantage of that platform. It's like I always tell people, you don't go to One Young World and just magically change. It's what you put into it. It's what you put into it is definitely what you get out of it. So definitely take advantage of the platform itself. Does anyone have any other questions from either Facebook or the YouTube? Thanks.
I don't know if this one happened when I got disconnected, but somebody asked about follow-up activities taking place after the summit.
Okay. Yeah, I see that question. I want to know in which sense follow-up activities as far as networking events or
Yeah.
projects. If I think Bubba just tweeted that, so if he can maybe clarify, then I'll definitely love to answer that. Um,
Okay.
I'd love to answer that. Moving swiftly along from there, though, are there any events happening on the 19th?
Um, I don't know. I am not sure what the social program fully entails as of yet because I know some details are still being finalized. But last year we did have activities the day after the summit in Johannesburg. So there are certain social activities that are happening around, like the tour um, of Dublin and visits to various places. I mean, if you can, absolutely do give yourself the follow-up day because the closing ceremony is also a very good night and you might be very tired. So do give yourself that extra time to stay in, and there will certainly, there'll more than likely be kind of daytime night owl sessions. There'll still be conversations going on, and there will more than likely be social activities. But as far as I know, um, the social program is the main event is the closing ceremony, but there will be the options for tours. There's also this absolutely amazing Viking splash tour that you can do in Dublin, where you go on a truck that goes into the water and you can sail around, and it's amazing. So definitely do, if you can, give yourself that extra day where you can check out of the hotel at like 10 or 12 o'clock and do some various activities. The Irish delegation will be around. There's about 100 of us, and um, some of the other ambassadors be around. So do give yourself that time, even if it's not. Dublin is very, very small, so even if there's not set social activities the following day on the 19th, there's definitely some very affordable either walking tours or social tours you can do for kind of in and around 10 to 20 euros. So, if you're considering it, give yourself the extra time. I'll be there too.
I love that you casually threw that in there. I'll be there as well. Like, way to
I'll
sell
be there,
yourself.
and all I want to do is make friends.
Way to sell yourself, Cassie. Okay, so Bubba just clarified his question. So if anyone wants to know, his original question was what follow-up activities are usually taking place after the summit, and he wants to know in regards to projects or directly after the summit. So basically, there's so many things that happen. Um, Let me take you to the very last day of the summit. Um, around the conference hall, there are normally little machines that ask you to put in your pledge. What is it that you pledge to do? Whether or not it's to start a certain project or do a certain initiative, that's put in that would be put in the machine. Depending on whether or not that person wants to follow up with that project, they would. So you wouldn't necessarily know what everyone is doing until, unless they say, hey guys, this is the project that I'm involved in. But as far as One Young World supporting those projects, yes, One Young World definitely provides its social media platform for us to, get our projects out there. Like Cassie said, the blogs are definitely always a good way to say what projects it is that you're dealing with. But in order for you to know what's going on within the One Young World community, you definitely have to. I can't stress how important it is to take advantage of the One Young World website. Read the blogs, go into the community, look into the impact projects, see what it is that you want to get involved in, and how you can get in touch with the person on there. One Young World is always really amazing with how they help us get in touch with one another. So they're always willing to say, oh, you want to learn how to do this? Well, we know this person. We'll connect you with them. So continue to watch the website. That's honestly the only piece of advice I can definitely give as far as that.
Ash, and if I can say something about that, I think it's also important to know that there are tools that we can use, and that, for example, us being regional coordinators is basically to help you reach out the organization in a more easy way. To know that you have a blog that you can use if you have something, if you have a project that is interesting, if something is going on in your country and you want to have a say on it, you can definitely tweet, and One Young World will pay attention. And also, we are here to help you do that. So if there's something that you want to write about, or if there's a project that you want the One Young World community to know about, definitely know that there are tools and there are things that you can use to definitely do that, and to spread the word on your projects.
Yeah, and as a kind of a really good follow-up that I've found in the last year is the caucuses and kind of the regional groups that will form as well. You'll have your One Young World kind of overall everyone who's going, which is very hard. Like, it's a very busy group. There's so many people in it. But do connect with other ambassadors and delegates in your local area, and then your coordinating ambassadors for next year will organize caucuses where you can go in person to have discussions about kind of industries and impact and social issues. So that's a really good physical way of staying in touch with people as well. And that kind of, I really think that the strength in One Young World is the networks that it creates for people after, that you are part of this community where everyone is like-minded, everyone is trying to do something similar, or everyone is trying to basically have an impact, and to be able to tap into that community and tap into that resource of people is it's just wonderful. So for me, that network is the greatest follow-up that you can have after the summer.
Definitely. Do you have any more questions that you would love to ask us?
No, just concerning the blogs maybe. I was thinking about what to write, and I don't know really who to address, or should I just talk about a topic that is particularly interesting to me, or who am I talking to really? I don't know that.
So, does any of you want to answer that, or?
I can answer that. And we can all, give our ideas. Basically, when you write a blog, you're very much free to address it the way you want. It's very important to know what you're saying and who do you want to say it to. For example, many ambassadors have talked about their projects, addressing it to other youth that they want, to get involved. Or sometimes ambassadors write about an issue about their countries and they address it to, their government. It all depends on what exactly your message is and how do you wanna touch it. So that's the beauty about blogging, is that you can tell your story the way you want it. The very important thing is for you to have a clear message that you want to put out there. So basically, with blogs, we're very free to write it the way we feel comfortable in.
Okay.
Yeah, and in terms of your audience, it's mainly your fellow delegates and your peers. So, whatever you feel comfortable with is the most important thing.
Okay, thanks.
All of us, we love them.
Yeah, and they said everything that I could have possibly told you. It's honestly, no one is gonna make you write a blog on sewage waste if that's not what you're into. If that's something that you're not eloquent in, if you don't know, no one's gonna say you gotta do it, Aya. You gotta do it for the people. No one's gonna make you do that. Whatever project you're working on, however big or how small, definitely write it. And the beauty about a blog is it realizes that everyone has different strengths and weaknesses and different writing styles, and blogs are never supposed to be formal. They're very much informal ways to get your voice out there. So don't feel pressured to draft it like you would like you're working for CNN or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the thing at the blogs is not to overthink them. To just write what you want to write. It's your turn to have your say on whatever issue that you're passionate about. So don't be too bogged down in what makes a good article. Don't be too bogged down in what makes a good blog post, and just, just write what you want to write, because it's your opportunity to basically get your voice heard and get it out there.
Okay.
Yes. Does anyone else have another question from any of the platforms that we're using, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter?
I have one on the history of One Young World.
Ooh, that's heavy.
A good one.
And over to you, Ash.
So the history in what sense? How One Young World came about?
How it came to be, yeah.
All right. So basically, One Young World was created by both Kate Robertson and David Jones. Don't want to put words in their mouth, but the synopsis of it all was they both realized that young people are definitely talent filled. Definitely Generation Y, the millennials. We all have something to bring to the table, and we just didn't have a seat at that table. They wanted to know how can we provide opportunities for young people to come together and share their ideas. So that's how One Young World came into being, really. The idea of Kate Robertson and David Jones. Super simple. The first summit happened in London, I think. There were about between 800 to 900 delegates. From there, it happened in Zurich, then Pittsburgh, then Johannesburg. So the organization is a fairly young one, but the amount of growth that has taken place in the past 4 years, my God, it's been amazing. It's been really crazy. And I can't wait to see, where One Young World is in the next, not even the next 4 years, but the next year in particular, because we're going to be in Bangkok next year, and that's the first time the summit is going to be, in Asia. So it's going to be really amazing as far as that is concerned. But yeah, that's the history of One Young World, really, the brainchild of Kate Robertson and David Jones.
Right. Well explained. And of course, the history of One Young World is now being written by all of us, all of us ambassadors that are building this network. So that's why becoming a delegate and becoming an ambassador is so important, because a network can only grow, by the connections that people make. So, so definitely, we're now writing the story of One Young World.
Oh, I love that. You should write a blog for me, for my region.
Write a blog about that.
I have a question from Stuart Russell, though. He says, as delegates, what do we need to be ready for? Is there anything important we should bring with us? So,
that's a good question.
Yeah, I can answer the latter of that first question, that question. Basically, Stuart, the beauty of us coming from so many different countries is that we have obviously so many different cultures, and so if you feel as if there is a special, there are special souvenirs or something, something really special from your country, from your culture that you can bring that won't cost you an arm and a leg, to take through the airport, definitely do that. Definitely, you can definitely bring something that represents you and your culture to the summit. Obviously, this goes for any networking event or any event in particular. Business cards. Business cards are important. Obviously, they're really important because I still have business cards from the Zurich Summit. That was in 2011, and you never know, you never know when you're gonna, need some of those people, and so definitely when you have that information, readily available, it's very important. So I think that was, without saying, definitely business cards. What about you girls?
I think
energy.
Go ahead. Yeah, just business cards and your kind of traditional things. I mean, preparing for the summit, don't overthink it. Come with an open mind. Notebooks, pens, because there's going to be a lot of notes. There's going to be a lot of wisdoms that you're going to want to take down. I had enough quotes from last year's summit to open a fridge magnet manufacturing factory, and enough little kind of inspirational things that were dotted around the place. But basically just come with an open mind. Just prepare yourself to go to every session. even if you think there's a topic that you're not going to be interested in, because you'll be surprised at how many things are said in different sessions that are relevant to what you are working on, or that might open your eyes or change your way of thinking, or just kind of just be completely open. Come with an open mind, an open notebook, and a fresh pen, maybe a packet, and yeah, just be open to everything.
Yeah, definitely. No, a lot of energy, a lot of good vibes, a lot of wanting to get to know people, and and definitely pen and paper. That's very important, because you're gonna be taking a lot of notes that um, that are gonna make a change when you go back to your hometown, and you start reading them. You understand what's the impact of being part of a network that has youth from all over the world.
This is my notebook from last year. It's beside my bed on my desk, and they are all notes from the sessions from last year. So
Wow.
have a fresh notebook, because there's so many things.
How many doodles are in there, Cassie?
How many
Doodles.
doodles? Let me see. Oh, there's that one. Just one thought cloud.
Definitely.
That's just proper, insightful writing, in case I do decide to ever manufacture fridge magnets. I've got some great quotes in here, and it's great. Like, I keep this on me when I'm kind of working on projects or just in day-to-day life, and you just have those kind of little tidbits of inspirations and stuff that you can have with you for. So yeah, definitely get a notebook. Get a good, nice, good basic notebook.
Just one more question here. When will the counselors or the speakers, like, they're always talking about these famous people coming to One Young World, and when will it be public, like who is coming and who's not?
A few of the counselors have already been announced, and they should be up on the site or on the kind of various social medias. There's a few of the kind of returning counselors, the same names coming up again and again. Yeah, just keep in touch. There's no major release date of who's coming. They're just announcing them as they're confirmed. So, just keep an eye on the site to see who's coming.
Okay.
Definitely. I like that. An eye, a wither eye on the site, not the horizon, the site. But yeah, I think we're at the end of the call.
I have a question just come in about sponsorship, and any for people who haven't found sponsorship yet and how to do it.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I can start by saying something, and you guys can help me out. I mean, it's definitely a difficult question. We know that finding sponsorship to go to an event like this is not easy, but there are many ways. I mean, there are many ambassadors that are doing their own crowdfunding campaigns, and that helps them a lot. Once you're selected as a delegate, when you go to your profile, you can download a package that you have there that has like a letter that introduces One Young World, that says what the event is all about, and you can use that package to also do to reach out to either a corporation or organizations locally that you think might want to sponsor you. An example of things that ambassadors in our regions have done, for example, many of them have had their universities help them out, and when they come back, they give a couple of lectures about what was One Young World, what did they learn. So I definitely think about it. It is about being creative. It's not easy. As we always say, you need to try. If you really want to go, you need to try all the resources out there. But definitely, it is about going out there locally and see who might want to sponsor you, and not only asking them to give you the money, but also give them an action that you will do with them once you come back. I think that's very important, because if you tell them, I'm going to come back and do this project with you, or I'm going to come back and, do a night owl session with members of your organization, that it's something that might help those that still don't have the funds to go to Dublin.
Yeah, I would kind of say two things on sponsorship. My kind of number one piece of advice would be to create like a 2-minute video on your phone or something that very quickly goes through what you're interested in, what kind of projects you're working on, and then try and send that to corporations or businesses that have similar interests or similar values, so that you're kind of connecting there. And secondly, don't think of it as asking someone for, don't think of it as a big ask. Think of it as a relationship that you're building with, with a business or a corporation. And to kind of reiterate, just, don't forget the value of the summit, that you're going to learn so many things that you can take back to that business and that corporation. So you're basically the go-between between that corporation and the summit. So, do sell it in a way that they're investing in something. They're investing in what you're going to learn. They're investing in your knowledge and your ability then to go forward and be an active leader or an active worker for them in the future. So stop thinking of it as just you're not begging people for money. You're not asking them to facilitate something for you. It is a partnership, and you can offer them a lot pre and post summit.
Okay, and when should you start looking for sponsors? Because Bangkok is like in 1 year, more than a year, like ahead.
So as far as when you start looking for sponsors, it's once you have the dates, it's never too early to start looking for a sponsor. It's never ever too early to start looking for a sponsor. Even before you might get the official sponsorship appeal letter from the website, you can still draft up your own sponsorship letter, and then once that's ready, you can send it over to the corporation that you would have dealt with. But like I tell people say, Ash, how do you get to this so many of the summits? And I say, well, as soon as one ends, I start funding for the next one. It's something that you have to do, because you realize it's not easy, and definitely coming from the Bahamas, obviously the funding isn't there. So you have to be creative, and you have to which takes me to the next point. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. It works for some people, fundraising quietly, but you have to make the most noise when you do it. Like, you have to let people know that, it's not like Raaida said, and Raaida and Cassie said, it's not just simply looking for money, but seek to create that partnership. So it's never too early to say, to start looking for funding. Even if you say, well, I can do this in the lead up to One Young World, I can host a workshop in your company's name at one of the local schools, or I can host a workshop, at the at your company's headquarters. Honestly, it's never too early. But on the same token, it's never too late. It's just a massive hustle. It's really a hustle. You have to have that hustle mindset, though.
Okay.
All right, so I think we are now at the end of our call. Thank you all so much for sending your questions. Thank you, Aya, for being here. Thank you to the coordinating ambassadors that made this happen. We just want you to remember that if you go to the One Young World homepage, and if you click in the opportunity in the community tab, you'll find a good opportunity there with the Ranga Startup Competition. And people, you can win $20,000 for your social startup. So please make sure you check that. And please keep your questions coming using the hashtag OneYoungWorldPrep, and reach out to us, reach out to any of us, and we'll be more than happy to answer any doubts that you might have. So thank you very much for being here and for all of your questions, and see you in Dublin.
Thanks.
Bye.